Welcome back to Ultimate Combat Radio. Mike Stidham here talking a little mixed martial arts in the studios of 1280 The Zone. And this segment is brought to you by Aztec Highway. Get it your way at the Highway, WDFA. Now, I understood that you did get it your way at the Highway, Joe.
Oh, I did.
So
got
did
it,
I.
got it good. What'd you get?
I got the cutest black little dress. It says Metal Militia on it. So cute. They have the cutest girl stuff. Swimsuits, dresses, tops, everything.
And cutest girls.
And really cute
Best
girls.
thing about Aztec Highway is you get to hang out with Brittany for however long you're there.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's pretty awesome. So, now we do have a poll question tonight, Robertina. If somebody wanted to talk about the poll question, how would they do it?
Well, they can call us 45 or 670-1280 or text us 53318. Text zone and your poll answers.
Okay, now we'd love to hear from you because, look, this is, especially if you're picking anybody from an underdog perspective, it really seems on paper there's maybe some mismatches, not mismatches, but there are some favorites, if you will. And if you think Silva's going to get beat, tell me why. I'd love to hear anybody try to sell me on that concept because I don't see it happening, but love to hear from you. Now, speaking of superstars, we got a kid that he goes by a nickname of Super. Steven Siler just made the Tough Show, and this is a Utah native, a guy that just beat up some of the toughest guys in Utah. Now he's not satisfied with that, Joe. He's moved on to beating up people on the national level. We're looking forward. In fact, I'm excited. I think we've got him in the air. On the line here? Steve, are you there?
I'm here, Mike.
How the heck are you, man?
I'm good. How about you, man?
Well, I got to be honest with you. I'm super excited for you. First of all, congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Now, I realize you're not able to tell us a lot about your current standing in the show, but why don't you kind of tell the folks at home that maybe don't know about, what about the tryouts? And first of all, what drove you to try out, and then kind of walk us through the process?
I actually didn't have to try out this year. I've tried out in the past and, made it to the medicals for season 12. And then when my boy Ramsey and Brock Jardine went down to the 170 tryouts, I ended up going with them just for the hell of it and for the 170s, and actually made it to the interview then too. And it surprised me actually.
That's cool.
And Joe Silva seemed to like me, and Craig, the producer, and when I got to the to the interview there, they're like, who are you messing with? You're not a 70-pounder. I was like, I know I'm not a 70-pounder. I'm not even a 55-pounder. I'm a 45-pounder. So you guys cut me when I would have won the whole show, so I want to prove my chance here at 170.
Buddy, that is awesome. That is a great story, man.
Yeah, so they called me back for the medicals on 145, and next thing I know, I was on the show.
Wow, that's
he
very
is a
cool.
Superstar.
He is. I got to tell you, Steve, that's something that I've always kind of. I was telling these guys before the show that you were tough before you were tough. You, in your mind, you were the toughest guy in the room anytime you were there. I remember when we first put you with Oliver Bradstreet, and you're just like, I don't, nobody's taught me how to fight. I don't know any of those moves, but I'm going to kick this guy's ass. And that attitude is really what has got you on the show today. Would you agree with that?
Oh, for sure. I wouldn't, take back those fights, even though I had give me quite a bit of losses for having that attitude. I wouldn't take it back for the world. It taught me a lot, and I had the fun fighting only 4 times.
I know. I'd forgotten about that. I went back and was looking at your record, and I thought, Oliver Bradstreet's on there 4 times. Do you wake up at night and think of him sometimes?
You know what? Once I got that loss, when I actually beat him, it kind of, cleared my mind. Plus, he started training with us for a little bit, so I was able to punch him in the face every day for a little bit.
Tell us a little bit about the situation with you and the Sharp brothers. I know there was some bad blood there. Has that been resolved, or do you guys still kind of look at each other across the room like, I'd like to punch you in the face?
In my mind, it's been resolved. It started with me beating John, and Steve didn't like that. And when Steve first called me out, I thought it was pretty cool because when I first got my first fight on Ultimate Combat, Steve Sharp was this big deal, and everyone saying how cool Steve was, and he actually betted in front of me in line for the medicals, and I was just like, oh, dude, you're Steve Sharp, it's okay. Because I thought Steve Sharp was so cool, and when I actually got a chance to fight him, it was like three years in the making. We tried building that fight, and we finally got it.
Right.
And I just, in my mind, I think I proved to everyone that I am the more superior fighter, and I'm more advanced than he is now.
And nobody can argue that, I don't think. And, it's funny. He's going to wait in the line for the medicals behind you now. But, that is true because I watched this unfold. I watched especially after you beat John, Steve, really took that personally. And then, I knew it was going to happen one day, and it finally did. And I couldn't have been happier for you.
No, it was actually, that's one fight, that I wanted in Utah. A lot of the guys I've been fighting have been out-of-state guys, and I haven't really got to fight anyone locally for, an actual Utah fighter for a while. And when they actually offered me Steve Sharp, I jumped on it. And,
Yeah.
I was happy to get that out of the way just to prove to everyone who's the better Steve.
Yeah, there you go. You're the top Steve in town. All right, so tell us about the show. Who were the coaches this year? And then are there any notable characters in the show aside from yourself?
There's the coaches were Jason Mayhem Miller and Michael Bisbing. We had a lot of, I actually had fun with everybody on the cast. We had a little guy who's actually a 25-pounder named John Dotson. He's a little character, and, he'll make everyone laugh. And we had some, just weird guys. Some guy who just, to make everyone laugh, he'd jump, onto the jacuzzi to cover just to hit his balls, just to make everyone laugh. It was just,
what is wrong with some people?
Just a crazy, this is by far the craziest season. Dana White said it hands down, this is probably the best season you'll ever see.
Oh, that's good stuff. Well, now tell us about that first day in the house. You look around, do you see a bunch of guys and you go, I could kick his, I could beat him, or are you looking around saying, man, that guy looks pretty tough?
Oh, wow, dude. There's no one there that actually looked at it like, oh, man, that guy's going to beat me up. I had no doubt about it. I was the toughest guy in the house, and no matter what, I was confident in whoever I was going to fight, and it was definitely an adventure to be inside the house with 15 other guys with pranks going on, and, you had to worry about if someone's going to mess with your stuff every day, because I slept, downstairs, and all my stuff was upstairs, so, I was very vulnerable. Someone could have messed with my toothbrush or...
But they realized they probably didn't want to do that, right?
No, I tried being peaceful with everyone. Everyone seemed to like me, so I'm pretty sure no one screwed with me, but I guess I'll find out here next month.
All right, so now is the show pretty much formatted like past seasons? Are there any major changes?
No major changes. Just, typical fight to get in the house, 2 different weight classes, and no wild card, no nothing. So it's a basic season.
I understand you can't give us any specifics, but was there drama other than guys cracking their huevos on the hot? Was there any drama in the house?
Oh yeah, there's definitely some drama in the house.
All right,
Love it.
So now Ramsey took second last season, and Court won the whole dang thing. These are obviously your teammates now. Is there added pressure on you? Do you feel added pressure to do well? Or do you feel like, you've got a leg up on the competition because these guys have given you some insight as to what's going to go on in the house and that kind of thing?
Going into the house, I actually felt really prepared because we had, as you said, Court won it. We actually had Brookins down here who won season 12. Then we had Ramsey Newsom and Clay Harbison who were both on season 13. So I had 4 different guys giving me what to expect, and so I was really prepared, and I was definitely ready to go inside that house. And after Ramsey's fight, even though he lost, he pulled me aside, like, hey, just remember, there's no pressure. Don't worry about what happens there. Just do your best, and I promise you, everyone will you. And just hearing that from Ramsey, made me feel, like stress off my shoulders. Like, okay, I really don't got to prove anything to anybody.
Good stuff, man. All right, so now you're training down at the academy or Pitt Elevated. Good bunch of guys down there, great coaches. Tell us a little bit about them, your teammates, your coaches. Now, we're hoping you're preparing for the big finals matchup, but either way, you're going to be preparing for the tough finale. Tell us what's going on there and what's happening with that.
Right now, it seems like everyone has a fight coming up. We have Court and Clay on the 17th. Clay's fighting Donnie Yang, and Clay's fighting DeMarcus. We have, Ramsey fighting on the GSP Nick Diaz card on October 29th. We have Rad fighting for September 17th. We have a bunch of guys getting ready for fights, so mine's actually like the latest fight that could happen. So we're just more focused on getting everybody else prepared, and we'll worry about me when my time comes.
Very nice. Now I had the privilege of going down there last weekend to the big the benefit event for Rad Martinez and the Intrepid Fallen Heroes. It was a great atmosphere there. I just got a great vibe off the gym and the guys that were there. Not just the superstars, not just the Rad Martinez of the place, but even the guys that seemed like they'd just been there a little while. What do you attribute that to? Why do you feel like there's such a good family feel to that place?
Will's taken over the gym, and he's he's made sure everyone's comfortable. And Jason, being the coach he is, he's someone that you want to fight for. He's probably the best, not even coach, just best person that's actually I've ever been around. And he makes everyone feel comfortable, and we make sure everyone feels like family there. That's one thing in the house I actually miss. I would think about it every day. I'd think about my girlfriend, think about my family, but then I'd also always think about my family down here in Orem, my training partners, and how much I miss everybody down here.
Yeah, that's very cool.
So I got a chance to go down and do that seminar too, and I got to tell you, your guys' strength and conditioning coach is nuts. He is out of his mind.
Yeah, he wasn't playing around that day.
Yeah, he was killing us. Do you guys go through that kind of regimen every day you train?
Yeah, not every, we have different conditioning every day. I usually go to Dom probably twice a week, just to get me, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on how close the fight is, and just to make sure I'm all in line and, prepare to fight.
Now, Steve, are you, do you have any sponsors? Are we looking for sponsors? What are we doing with you?
Especially for the show, I can't really have any sponsors coming up. Okay. So after the finale, we'll see what sponsors I get from there.
Well, why don't you plan on this? Come back on after the finale. We're going to be expecting to be talking to the big champ of the thing, and let's see if we can't help you get some.
Sounds good to me. I appreciate it, Mike.
Super Steve Siler. I, for one, man, am super excited about your prospects, man. I'm 100% confident you're going to win this thing, man. I'm excited, man, and I'm going to watch the show, and I don't watch that show. I've got a gym that, classes are on during there, and I'm going to have to learn how to do TiVo so I can watch it. And I want to wish you the best of luck, my man.
Okay.
Did we lose him?
He's a superstar.
He is out of here, ready to go train. So it was cool to have him come on the show. I think, again, those guys and Adam Laga has been, getting these guys to come on the program and talk about what they've got going on. And I think they just got a good thing going on down there.
It's got to be pretty awesome coming from you. They start in your show and you see them progress, and then all of a sudden they make this big stage. It's got to be kind of have a good feeling.
I've always really liked Steve Siler just because he's just had that attitude. Like, you know what, I'm going to be the toughest guy in this room one day. And that was a great story that he says about Steve Sharp, and that was really cool. So, all right, the biggest story going on in Utah MMA coming up when we come back.